Hey, Chris here. We're going to be doing some compound interest calculations. I'm going to open up that Desmos right away, so I'm ready to go. And in our content, we're looking down here at using the formula. And so it gets a bit tricky. It's the compound interest formula, A equals P bracket 1 plus I to the N. Okay, A is the final amount, so instead of using a spreadsheet, we're going to use exponents to repeat this calculation multiple times. In the first example, we're going to repeat the calculation 300 times by just using this exponent to the power of 300, which keeps multiplying this thing over and over. Okay, P is the principal amount invested. I is the interest rate divided by the number of compounding periods per year. So it's basically the interest rate per month in the first example. And N is the number of compounding periods per year times the number of years, or how many, in the first example, how many months we're going to do this investment for. So let's have a look at one. Okay. Example 1. I'm going to go over here into my Jamboard. Compound interest formula, which I've written here. The final amount of investment in which we're going to invest $76,800. Whoops. Principal is $76,800. I always write these out on the left-hand side first. Before I try and do any kind of calculations. I is the interest rate as a decimal, so 0.023, that's 2.3%, or 2.3 out of 100, divided by 12. Now, if we wanted, we could see what that number is right now, 0.023 divided by 12, but it's a pretty ugly decimal. And in fact, it's going to give it to me, whoops, divided by 12, sorry. It's going to give it to me as a really long decimal, and I could use that as 0.00192. I want to keep at least a few non-zero numbers in here, so I could use 0.00192, but we're going to leave it as the fraction for now. But I'm going to write both down and we'll see the difference. So 0.00192, that would be rounded, or we can leave it as the fraction. N is the number of years, 25 years, times the number of compound periods per year, which is 12, so N is equal to 300. So we put the calculation in here. We have P is 76,800 times 1 plus I. Let's leave it as the fraction, but we'll do both the calculations to compare. 0.23 over 12, close the bracket to the power of 300. So we're going to use our spreadsheet to do this calculation for us. And I'm just going to separate my calculator to one side and have this guy, whoops, bounce him to this side, and have this guy on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to enter here, and we're going to do this calculation one shot. 76,800 times bracket 1 plus 0.023 over 12. Close the bracket. Oops. Sorry, I had to get that again. 5 by 12. And then get out here to close the bracket. To the power of, that's this A to the B button, 300. Okay, and I get a number of 136,048.53. Does the 3 stay the same, or does it go up 1? Well, it's the next number after the 3, or after the penny, is a 2, so it stays the same. So 136,408.53. So I'm going to put that over here. That's the total amount I have in my bank after this 25 years. And I just wanted to compare the difference between that and if I used 0.00192. So I can even change it in here and delete this and say 0.00192. I get 136,544. So about $150 or $140 difference if I did this rounding. So if we can, let's leave it as the fraction because Desmos calculator does it nicely for us. If you're trying to use a handheld calculator, it gets a little trickier. You may have to round, but I prefer not to. Okay, the interest earned is the amount minus the principal. Okay, so how much did we actually make? The amount, the final amount is 136,408.53. So I'm just going to duplicate that guy. Minus the principal, $76,800 equals And I don't have that one saved in there anymore. I think I'm going to stick this one back in. It was 0.023 divided by 12. Okay, because then what I can do is I can hit enter and say take that answer minus 76,800. And I get 59,608.53, and it stays as a 53. That doesn't change. So I'll just type it in here. 59,608.53. Okay, so that's how much interest earned, almost $60,000 over those 25 years. That's pretty cool. There are a couple more examples that you can look at as well. And if you wanted to try and use it like mine, this Jamboard, if you just went to jamboard.google.com, you can actually create your own Jamboard. And you can even, when you're done, go over here and download it as a PDF. So you can use the same kind of stuff if you wanted to on yours, if you prefer handwriting on the screen.